South Padre Island, the Valley's playground, the gateway to the Gulf of Mexico, but it's also the Valley's front door to the tropics. This beach is no stranger to hurricanes. Beulah, Allen, Brett, Dolly, a few of the visitors to this barrier island the last half century. And we know eventually more names will be added to that guest book. That's why we prepare here and valley-wide to face the fury.
We're just along 83, stretching right now in from Alamo into Donna into Weslaco along 83. Conditions are not favorable to be out on the road.
The last couple of hours. There's still one more little cluster of thunderstorms. It's going to take about the next 15
We've been on the outside of that hurricane, and we're experiencing one of the...
I'm Tim Smith. Hurricanes are a certainty here in the Valley. The only question is when. And because we don't know when, we have to prepare now as if this is the year. I'm joined today by the entire First Warn 5 storm tracking team with information you can use to prepare for the storm. Your home, your family, in a hurricane, you have the unique ability to write the ending of your own story if you start now.
In the next 30 minutes, we'll tell you how you can start preparing now for when a flood will affect you. We'll also show you how you can avoid being stuck without electricity during the storm.
And we'll have a detailed look at what it's like to have an extreme fear of weather and how preparing your home and family can help you cope with the storm. Plus, we'll have an example of how foster homes in the Valley are required to be hurricane ready.
And we'll look at hurricane evacuations, the factors that determine who should evacuate. Plus, we'll break down the forecast for the 2017 Atlantic hurricane season.
And you'll get information on a new system first responders will use for evacuations and rescues before, during, and after a hurricane.
But first, let's take a moment to look back at the Valley's benchmark storm. It was 50 years ago, Hurricane Beulah. Hurricane Beulah took 18 lives in the Caribbean before taking aim on the Valley in September of 1967. As the storm approached,
It looks now as if the storm is stronger than or at least it has gained more strength, and winds in it now are upwards of 175 miles an hour. Say between 150 and 175. That's a scary thought.
and then it came in. Winds in Brownsville estimated at 150 miles per hour. Damage was widespread.
A corner of the Brownsville Civic Center's roof was peeled away as 2,000 refugees huddled inside.
From South Padre Island and to Port Isabel, all the way to McAllen.
Power lines in most of this area were either down or would be.
And that was just the beginning. Beulah dropped up to 25 inches of rain over the valley and more in the mountains of Mexico. Our lakes and rivers were already full from heavy rains the month leading up to the storm, so Beulah's water had no place to go. The floodway system was put to work, and it failed. Levees gave way in McAllen, and water inundated the airport. And then?
Deep trouble here in Harlingen. Oh, what's happened? Has it been announced over the area yet? No, sir, it hasn't. The flood restriction structure at Mercedes built to limit the flow into Harlingen has failed. And there's going to be a lot of water come down the arroyo in a matter of a few hours.
And a lot of water there was. As the arroyo went over its banks, more than 8,000 people were evacuated and 2,000 homes were ravaged by the floodwater in Harlingen. Many of the homes a total loss, most uninsured. President Johnson, the governor, senators, and congressmen all visited the valley to see the damage left behind by Hurricane Beulah. From Rio Grande City to South Padre Island, Beulah left her mark. The total damage estimate in today's dollars, $1.5 billion. It's hard to believe it's been 50 years since Hurricane Beulah. And you know, for those who went through that storm, it's not a surprise that they may have a fear of storms. Well, you know, fear of severe weather is far more common than you might think. And as Samara Kukinas tells us, information and preparation are the keys to easing that fear.
It was a stormy night in the valley, complete with rain, hail, and lightning.
That particular night, the bolts were out of hand.
That quickly became a night Valerie Valverde would never forget. It was 2 years ago this May, Valverde stepped on her front porch to take pictures of the hail on the ground outside.
I just felt this enormous orange ball of heat come blow to where my hair actually blew back.
Lightning struck a tree in her neighbor's yard, a little too close for comfort.
I've never been that close.
Valverde says she wasn't afraid of storms before.
As a hobby, I just love meteorology since elementary.
Her close call with lightning changed all that.
I'm mortified. My heart cringes, starts racing, and panic.
Valverde is not alone. Many people fear storms. Some even have weather phobias. According to the American Meteorological Association's 2014 study, 1 in 10 Americans may suffer from some degree of severe weather fear. We spoke to Jennifer Garner, a licensed professional counselor, who told us more.
Phobias can come from something that has actually happened in our lives, like some sort of trigger or event, but they can also be from nothing.
A few common types of severe weather phobias include lilapsophobia, which is the fear of hurricanes or tornadoes, anemophobia, the fear of wind, and astrophobia, the abnormal fear of thunder or lightning.
If you have a phobia, you're going to panic. You're going to want to hide. You're going to want to avoid it. You're probably going to do a lot of checking of your social media, seeing what's going on, what people are saying. You're going to be checking your weather apps.
Garner says it's only a phobia if it prevents someone from living their normal life. Valverde says she doesn't believe she has a phobia, but says her experience has altered how she reacts to storms. She's found herself a few times hunkered down in her hallway to feel safe monitoring the storm's every move.
I watch it feverishly on my apps.
Not just one app, Valverde has nearly 10 of them. One specific app that tracks lightning.
It'll say lightning hit 14 miles from your house, lightning hit 3 miles, lightning hit 0 miles from your house.
Valverde says she prepares for every storm. She has lanterns, batteries, all the necessities to get through the storm safe. Even a place to go if she's too afraid to be at home. But it doesn't change how she feels.
But I'm alert. I don't sleep through it. I watch it. And I listen.
Waiting and watching until the sky's calm so she can too.
When we come back, preparing your home for the flood and foster families. The state requires them to be hurricane ready. Stay tuned.
Ben, on the outside.